Hello everybody, Dokkan here. Welcome back to another video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. So welcome to episode 3 of the Dokkan for Dummies series, where we basically take on every single perspective of this game. Obviously this will be useful for every new or recurrent or old player in this beautiful game we call Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. So what we're going to be doing here today is a topic that somebody suggested in the comments after we did I believe the first episode of Dokkan for Dummies, which he requested some tips and tutorials of going through Extreme Super Battle Road. Obviously, it is the same mode, Extreme says it all basically. The word Extreme just says that it's going to be even more difficult. So what we're going to be doing here is that I'm going to be basically taking on a stage, and we're going to be letting you know what to do here. Now, if you're a new player, maybe holding on to possibly like the more starting stages of Extreme Super Battle Road would be the way to go, instead of just like tackling this one in particular. Because look at this, like this team is insanely strong, you know? Like you have the whole Cooler / Frieza squad on the ready to take on this event. So I'm not gonna immediately say to the person who's watching this video, whether you're new or old, if you have these units right here. Obviously, there are some options that you can possibly do if you're feeling a little bit cocky. That you can possibly bring a full Metal Cooler squadron, like a full Metal Cooler team. It could work, considering that maybe that team has been a pretty strong team at the moment, but Extreme Super Battle Road can tend to be very difficult. So in any case, like if you have the opportunity, if you have this guy right here, this Metal Cooler, he is the leader of the Wicked Bloodline team, providing Ki +4, all stats 170%. He can be pretty good of a leader. But then afterwards, you will select the entirety of the free-to-play Metal Cooler squadron, which on their own accord, they can be pretty decent. So for the sake of this video, I haven't tested it out yet, but we can certainly do it. We can attempt it with this team and see how well we can do. So actually, you know what? Let's do it. I was planning to take on this guy, you know, just to showcase him, just to see how good he is, because I just finally got him full level 10 links and everything. But let's go ahead and switch everything. Just for the sake of people who are watching new, could this be taken in a free-to-play fashion? Could this be done free-to-play? So let's go ahead and kick this off. So I'm gonna bring this guy just for the sake of having a leader on our team. I will bring this Dokkan Fest exclusive Metal Cooler. If in any case you don't have this unit, you can possibly use this guy right here. He can be a pretty good substitute, free to play. He could be pretty decent. Not the greatest of leader skills, just providing 77%, and Ki +3 is not the greatest to go with. But if you are in the slot that you basically do not have any Dokkan Fest whatsoever, and you want to tackle just this straight up Wicked Bloodline stage of Extreme Super Battle Road, then by all means, man, you're tougher than I am. So let's go ahead and do this, right? I'm gonna select the entirety of the free-to-play Metal Cooler squadron. I don't know if this is possible. We might have to do some retries here and there, but we'll see if this is doable. I'm gonna select a friend LR Metal Cooler just because he's going to be helping us out, not only because of his leader skill, but because of his revival. I just feel like if we go into this with this team, we might not have the greatest of luck. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and attempt it. Now, let me pause real quick for a second. Obviously, you have these 3 stages where you can be able to take on the stage of Wicked Bloodline. The category stages are going to start giving you like 3 enemies. I believe Super Battle Road is going to be the same thing. Now, for when it was the typings, like the mono types or the super class and extreme class, I believe that's when they started to do 3 enemies. But on the beginning stages where you had to use, or like, yeah, where you had to use mono teams basically means teams composed of units that have the same typing. For example, you will have to bring, oh well, let's say Metal Cooler's AGL, you will have to bring units that are full AGL units basically. That would classify a team as a mono team. So for those stages, you will have to fight 4 stages right here. These are stages right here. We have King Vegeta on the front, then we have Vegeta back there, and then we also have Goku over there. So those are stages. For the items, remember that this is going to be a more difficult centered Super Battle Road. Super Battle Road in and of itself can be a little bit tricky, considering that we will be getting obviously new stages every single, like, I guess some celebrations we're getting like new stages and stuff like that. Right now, on this occasion, we just got the artificial life forms. Some occasionally, these are just like occasional updates that the game provides you, basically. For the items, this is very important. Right now, I'm bringing the support memory. You don't need to bring the support memory. This is just me trying to do a showcase to see if this is doable. But if you do want to bring something that packs a little bit of a punch, you can bring this one. Or there's another one that you can be able to obtain free to play from the Cooler Story mode. That way, it also provides a little bit of a buff, but it has some turn thresholds. This one in particular does not. So let's go ahead. These are the items that I'm bringing. These are basically the typical items that you would like to bring on Super Battle Road, because they're going to be very, very useful. The Whis, keep in mind, the Whis is a damage reduction item. Basically speaking, you will not be able to sustain a lot of damage. It's a 40% damage reduction item that will be active for 2 turns. The Icarus down here, under the Whis, is going to have the same effect, but instead of 40%, it's 35%. The Android 8, or the Hachan, that is on the right side of the Icarus, heals you for 70% HP and provides a defensive buff of 50%, if I'm not mistaken. And then there's the Princess Snake that is on the right side of the Whis, providing damage reduction of 30% and providing a heal of, I think, 55%? I don't remember too well off the top of my head, so let's go ahead and jump in. Obviously, we're going to kind of overanalyze the fights here. Basically speaking, just like the same format that we had in the previous Super Battle Road run in the episode 1 of the Dokkan for Dummies, so you guys can be able to check that out. We're gonna overanalyze every single like rotation and everything like that, because we have different enemies, different rotations, and basically types. We can have type advantage, type disadvantage, all that good stuff. So for example, if we do this right here, then we are just basically killing ourselves, because we're having King Vegeta just absolutely destroy the typing that he has advantage against. As you guys see on the top right, where we see like the little circle, physical, int, tech, AGL, and STR. Those are what you call the advantages of the typing. If you go backwards, obviously that will be type disadvantage. So, for example, physical is stronger against int, but physical is weak against STR. Basically like that. Or if you guys want to see it because of colors, the purple is stronger against the green, but the purple is weaker against the yellow. So that possibly could be a good way to look at things. So let me do this right here. We're gonna leave it the way that it is, and we're gonna be doing this, right? We're gonna analyze the defense. This is very vital, because your units, the units' defense is going to be basically what makes or breaks the run. If you have a unit that shows that it's possibly like a little bit weaker on the defensive side of things, then you won't be able to sustain. You will be like, let me see, how can I put it? You will be sustaining a lot of damage at the beginning of the fights, and you need to be consistent with the runs, basically, like trying to see which units can be able to work around some of these other like enemies and stuff like that. Is this unit able to raise his defense? For example, this guy is only able to raise his attack for 1 turn, but as you guys can see, his defense is pretty high up, 221k defense. You might think to yourself, is that too high? Am I okay? Is this doable? In some certain scenarios, maybe. But if you get hit with a type disadvantage super attack, then you might be in a little bit of trouble because your HP won't be the greatest. So for this rotation right here, it is safe that you can, obviously you have your 8 items in here, so make sure you wisely try to use these items. It is not like, I don't want you to use a Whis or like 2 Whis and then 2 Android 8s immediately. I don't want you to use that. I don't want you to expend your items right now, because if you do, then you will not be able to go into the other fights completely safe. So let's go ahead. If for this case, we're going to be using this item. This item, obviously, once you tap on it, it gives you the description of the item and what it will do if in any case it happens for the next few turns or anything like that. So for example, on this item says that damage received will be reduced by 35% for 2 turns. That's gonna be good. So we can use it freely. Now, what I would recommend for the rest of the fights, try to see if you can establish some takedowns at the beginning of these stages. For example, this guy has type disadvantage, so we can be able to hit this guy Bardock with our boy Metal Cooler since he has type advantage. If we are able to basically kill him this fight or like this turn, then we will be looking pretty good, because obviously 1 enemy is easier to deal than 2. So, and I'm sorry that I'm kind of like spoon feeding the information and everything like that. This is what this series is all about. I want to just be able to show what can you do on a scenario like this, step by step. So now, as you guys saw that I tapped on the other enemy with the other units, just to make sure that we deal a little bit more damage coming in. We can do this right here. Actually, I do not know. That's another thing, right? You can be able to look at your units' effect. And we're seeing here that our boy, the AGL Metal Cooler, he's able to lower the attack and defense of the enemy, which is very nice. Since he is able to do that, we're lowering the attack and defense of this Bardock. But if we do find another unit that can be able to lower the attack and defense of somebody, but all these guys, all the free-to-play Metal Coolers are able to raise their defense, then just use these guys, like this Metal Cooler, to lower the attack and defense of an enemy who you think might bring you some basic, like if he bring you some struggles during the fight, then make sure that you put that enemy down by lowering the attack and defense of the enemy. So because of Metal Cooler's ECA, he is able to receive attack and defense on his passive as soon as he receives an attack. Therefore, you guys saw the little icons at the bottom for him receiving a little bit of an attack and defense going up. That means that he was able to receive those buffs. There we go, as you guys can see them. He's able to receive some substantial amount of attack and defense that's because of his passive, basically. So you guys saw. Now we're doing this together, right? We took down Bardock, so he is no longer somebody to deal with. The item that you just used is still active, so you don't need to use any other items unless you feel like you might be in a struggle. Right now, we got the perfect rotation because we have type advantage. Type advantage means that we are not going to receive too much damage if we get hit with a super attack or we get hit by the enemy via normal attacks. This basically states that if you are, let's say, doing this attack and doing these other attacks, you don't need to worry about feeling like insecure or anything like that, because you look at your units' defense. 262k defense. We have type advantage and we have the item active. Remember that the item lasts for 2 turns. So if the item is still active, that means that you don't need to use another item. You're safe to go, basically, to be able to tackle against King Vegeta. So make sure that you don't expend your items. Have that little knowledge in the back of your head. Hey, I use an item and it's for 2 turns. So make sure that on turn 3, we are able to go into the next fight or be able to look at a unit's defense a little bit more so I can be able to protect them, you know? Alright, so 4.9 million metal cooler. This LR metal cooler is pretty damn good. So he's basically just gonna be, well, I guess not again. He was able to do some pretty decent damage, I guess. Keep in mind, like I said, you won't be able to take a lot of damage on these types of fights. So, if we, oh man, it would have been nice if we hit him with another super attack. That would have been fine. But again, look at this, right? Since we build up with this metal cooler, he has 399k defense. It is safe that right now there's no item active, meaning that if you get hit with a super attack, we might get a lot of damage in, or we might sustain a lot of damage. But I am a firm, you gotta trust in your units as well. You gotta trust in your units and saying like, man, should I use another item? I don't feel safe. If you don't feel safe, then by all means, you try to secure the victory on this fight. But if you feel safe on this one, then by all means, just go for it. But look at this right here. We were able to take an attack. We sustained not a lot of damage. We were able to build our attack and defense there, so our boy got a little bit of a defensive buff, and we were able to take down the enemy. So then basically that transfers to the entirety of the fight. You look at it this way. You go into the next fight. You're feeling confident. You can try to take down everybody. But keep in mind that these enemies, now we got 4 enemies in here. You gotta keep an eye out. Are we okay? Should I use an item? Should I heal? These are aspects and these are certain like things that you gotta take into account before heading into the before doing these other rotations and everything like that, you know? So be very careful. Obviously, keep an eye out for all the things that you need to look out for. If you feel like, man, this tech metal cooler is receiving a lot of attacks at the end, so I don't feel safe, that's fine, because you managed to get through the first fight and you have 7 items left. You're good to go. You can be able to use another item. Let's use this one. Let's use a Whis. It's going to be very helpful because Whis has a little bit more of a percentage buff in terms of damage reduction. So you can lower the damage you can receive by up to 40%, sorry. Let's leave this metal cooler in here because if in any case we do get hit with a super attack, we will revive because of his because of what he does basically. If we get killed on this fight, we get the revival. In this type of case, there's no unit in here that could be hit with a type disadvantage super attack. So that would have been incredible to just like try to take somebody down. But at the moment, we don't have that. So we go to the closest, like the next best thing. We can go ahead and attack either Nappa, or we can attack Raditz, or we can attack Goku. But if you attack this Vegeta right here, you won't be dealing too much damage because we're attacking him type disadvantage. It won't be the greatest of damage, and what we want to do is deal enough damage to take down these enemies. So let's go ahead and attack our boy Raditz in here. And also, like I said, don't be afraid to just like keep an eye out for what these units do. For example, this unit in particular, he's able to recover 50%, 15% of damage dealt as HP. He's able to do, he's able to recover a little bit more if you collect rainbow key spheres, and if you collect a certain, like just per key sphere obtained, you're able to increase this person's defense. So let's do this right here. This is going to give us 4 key spheres. It's going to be pretty helpful because it's going to help him raise his defense a little bit and heal a little bit more HP if he deals a lot of damage, basically. And now we can do a little bit of type advantage attacks here. So we have the Whis active, so don't be afraid. Unless everybody super attacks one character, you should be okay. Let me know what you guys think so far. Do you have any questions or anything in general that you guys would like to know about Dokkan? Any other topics that you guys would like for me to discuss? I believe we have a topic for the next episode of Dokkan for Dummies, which is called Dokkan Terminology. Basically speaking, what is a great chance, or what is a high chance, or what is a medium chance, or what are the multipliers of the game? Because basically speaking, there are multipliers that a lot of these units can do. For example, greatly raising defense, like greatly raises defense. What does that mean? What is that defense raise? You know, so that will be discussed in the next episode. But for this episode, let's just focus on trying to take down our opponent right here. So now we got a little bit of a leeway, you know. We managed to take out one enemy, which is pretty good. We're on turn 2. Remember, we still have the Whis item active, so you don't need to use another item. Our HP is looking pretty good, so we don't need to go too far, like, on the healing train and be like, oh my god, I need to heal. It's all good. Because, keep in mind, the same, if you have this character, which is STR, you collect the same color as the person that you're going to attack with, and you're going to be healing. As you guys saw right there. You guys saw that little heal that we just got? Pretty decent stuff, right? So let's go ahead and see how we do here. Remember that we are good to go. We're not going to be taking a lot of damage in here. We're focusing our attacks on one person because we do want to finish up this person, basically. Like this Vegeta right here. Let's just try to finish them off so we can feel a little bit safe, because we have a couple of units that have type disadvantage. So we don't want to risk it. Another thing to take into account is that you guys see that there are 4 enemies that we're facing right now, right? Well, it just so happens that also another thing, that this team will heal a lot. Because I believe this link right here, auto regeneration, recovers 5% HP and reduces damage received by 5%. This basically is just healing a lot. And Metal Cooler, this Metal Cooler as well, he is able to heal so much. So that's another thing to take into account. Let's do this right here so we can take down Nappa. The item is not active, but we're fine. We should be good to go. And we'll do the same thing with Goku. We're gonna be trying to, we're gonna attempt to take him down as much as possible. That way, we should be good to go. So as I was saying, you guys see that there are 4 enemies in this fight. The more enemies, oh sorry, I hit my mic. The more enemies you have, the less HP the enemy will have. Now, as you guys can see, it's like, man, how is that possible? So if you super attack the guy the farthest on the right, you will see that that person will have the less HP. He won't have a lot of HP, basically. But if you attack, let's say, Vegeta, since we had to attack him so many times, Vegeta does not have a lot of, he had a lot of HP. So we have to be a little bit careful with how we manage our attacks and how we directed these attacks to somebody else. So basically speaking, the more enemies you have, That basically it says, man, I'm in a bit of a tight. I was gonna say I'm in a bit of a tight disadvantage. I'm in a bit of a pickle here. I'm in a disadvantage because there are 4 enemies. What am I gonna do? Keep in mind they will not have as much HP as certain, like if you're doing 2 fights. If you're doing if you're doing a fight with 2 enemies, then you will have to worry because they will have a lot of HP. Now on this type scenario, where you have like 4 enemies on one side, they will not have a lot of HP. You know, that'll make it basically like balancing the scales or balancing the fight, because it'll be a little bit unfair, because if these people have a ton of HP and there are like 5 enemies, it'll be very, very difficult to take down. This is not like the red zone stages, where if you go into red zone and there are so many enemies with a lot of HP, you will be a little bit nervous, you know? Alright, so let's go ahead and do this. Again, we clear off the past 2 fights. You know how many items you have right now? You have 6. You have 6 items at your disposal, which you can be able to use just fine. If you are a person who is very, 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 very confident and be like, yeah, I can easily do this, no items, screw everything, then by all means do it. But I kind of want to do this in terms of like players who are just like not knowledgeable about the game, and they would like to actually know what they would like to do on a scenario like this, where they're just facing their first extreme super battle road. They don't know what's going on. And people who are able to do this no item, obviously it's trial and error. It's a lot of trial and error. You gotta keep on doing this, keep on doing this, keep on doing this. This is why these types of events have unlimited attempts to do. But as many times that you can try to do this, if you keep on going and keep on looking at the patterns and keep on seeing that maybe my units are strong enough, that maybe the no item run is possible, then by all means try to attempt it. But for players who just want to clear this up and be able to just finish the fight, be able to clear the stage and be out of there without dying, by all means use the items. Do not stay like too afraid of everything, you know? Just use the items, because nobody's gonna judge you if you use items, okay? Leave that to the pros. So let's go ahead and use another Whis. Again, it's going to be helpful because we're going to be reducing their damage by 40%. And we got some types here. We got some type disadvantage. So we can go out, we got some type advantages as well as we got some type disadvantages. Most of the attacks are happening with this cooler. Keep in mind, the only reason I'm leaving LR Metal Cooler at the front is because if in any case we do receive a lot of damage, that our HP just goes straight to 0, Metal Cooler has the ability to revive. That revive, basically he does like a cool badass animation, but we come back to life with a certain HP threshold. That's why I'm leaving him there, because he needs to be the one that receives the knockout blow. So that's one of the many reasons why I'm leaving him at the front. I'm going to be collecting all of these orbs because we're not only upping our defense a bit, but if in any case we do receive a lot of attacks, if in any case we do a lot of attacks, we are able to heal that because of our boy Physical Metal Coolers, the free-to-play Physical Metal Coolers passive. And then obviously our boy AGL, again, do not be afraid to stop for a little bit and check what these guys can do. So just looking at the passive, reading over here, so if the character is the first attacker in the turn, he's able to change STR key spheres to rainbow key spheres. He's able to he has some chances of dodging and everything like that per key spheres obtained. So let's see if we can be able to obtain a bunch of key spheres. And in any case, we got 5. That way we won't be able to sustain a lot of damage, and we can be able to dodge. So dodge is one of the strongest abilities in this game, so it's something to keep an eye out. If in any case, for example, like UI Goku, LRUI Goku, he has a 70% chance to dodge. If in any case a super attack was directed to UI Goku and he has that ability to dodge and he is able to dodge it, then you're good to go. Like, you're free. You're not taking any damage whatsoever. Which is very important. Like, dodge units can be pretty useful on like many other fights. All right, so we got the same scenario. The Whis is still active, so we are not going to need another like item to use at this moment in time. We shouldn't use another item. Now, you don't feel like confident like right now. What you can do is like, oh wait, this physical unit is attacking that int unit at the end. You can either do this, but you will have to possibly redirect your attack to this Goku to see if we can lower his attack and defense a little bit more. Considering that he is not going to be hitting a type advantage or like a type disadvantage unit, and we should be good to go. We should be fine. We're gonna target Goku just so we can be able to lower his attack and defense, so we should be fine. Then we're gonna redirect our attack by the Int Metal Cooler to our boy Goku. And since we have type advantage against this Vegeta, we're gonna do the same thing against him. We're gonna tackle him up. Now you see at the bottom the Dokkan meter is filling up. That's going to be very useful because if in any case any of these units survive, or any of our enemies survive, you can prepare that Dokkan attack for this phase right here. This is the most important phase. This is the last phase. After this, you're done. You're good to go. You don't need to do this fight anymore. But if you use this item in particular, like this Dokkan meter, if you raise it to the fullest, obviously the way that you can be able to raise it to the max is by collecting, like, if units of the same type collect the same type orbs, you should be pumping up that Dokkan meter. As you guys saw, it went up. But if units that are not the same color as the orbs that you're collecting in the field, then they will raise the Dokkan meter slightly lower than usual. So something to keep an eye out. If in any case you think or you look at that Dokkan meter and be like, what? Why is that Dokkan meter not going up as fast as other players, or as fast as this guy who's doing the video on this? Just keep in mind that collecting the same type orbs is very important. That way the Dokkan meter goes up, up, and up, and up, higher than you collecting different type orbs. When I'm saying type, it's like different colors, you know? You can look at typings as colors. So we collected a lot of like yellow key spheres for our yellow metal cooler, and he was able to raise the Dokkan meter to the fullest because of that. So right here, that Dokkan mode means that you're attacking everybody. Everybody who, like, if you get the Dokkan mode, you attack all. Basically attacking not only the Goku but the Vegeta, and the damage that goes through it goes directed at both or all the characters that are against you, or basically in the field. If Trunks was alive, he would have received the same damage that this Goku would have received. So Goku and Vegeta received the same damage as we just did. That'll do it. Basically speaking, it'll give you the details of the fight, and boom, you beat the fight. Congratulations on beating your first Extreme Super Battle Road stage. This could be in terms for all the Super Battle Road stages that you have. Like, for example, if you are fighting, like, let's say Goku's Family Extreme Super Battle Road. The characters in general, that's like, it'll tell you, hey, you will need to use only Goku's Family category allies or category units. Units that are in a specific category. For this particular fight, we use Wicked Bloodline category. So basically speaking, for this fight, you would just only use a team composed of Wicked Bloodline category members. But you cannot bring like Goku's Family category members into this fight because it will not allow you. It will not let you. This is just specifically for members of the Wicked Bloodline category. So that'll do it. let me know what do you guys think. Obviously, this is the way possibly. Like I'm trying not to make the videos too long for this because I don't want people to lose interest on this. But I greatly appreciate the support that you guys have been doing for the Dokkan for Dummies playlist. Um, and I am obviously like very excited. I'm thinking about any more episodes to do on this series, and I am in love with it. So I greatly appreciate it that you guys have been supporting this this little series of mine. It is very good. I love it. So let me know what you guys think about extreme Super Battle Road stages. Like obviously it was a little bit easy, but do not underestimate these types of fights. If you go in on the blind, you go in with no items whatsoever, then you will see how much damage we would have taken. Right now, like this is just for showcasing purposes. We can do another video, or like I can possibly upload a short uh, doing like a rotation on how, like on this fight, and seeing how much damage we would have taken without using an item. It would have been a lot. So just for people who are new and want to be careful with how they are going through the event, I just wanted to use the items just to make sure that if you're a new player and you wanted to just clear an extreme Super Battle Road stage, then this would have been the way to go, you know? So let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you made it till all the way to the end, I hope that you had the best of luck and the best of success on your extreme Super Battle Road runs. And if you have any other recommendations or tips or anything in general that you would like to know about all things Dokkan, then make sure you let me know on the comments below. Check out my social media, which are in the description. My Twitter is on the right side, and the Discord link for the Discord is on the description. That way you guys can be able to join in and we can be able to interact in a more personal fashion and everything like that. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys all in the next video. Happy Dokkaning.